What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. Final Week 6 preview and prediction video of the week. And you guys know I like to give love to the group of 5. Haven't really done it as much in previous weeks just because of scheduling and everything like that. But there is a really substantial one going on in the Mountain West Conference that I think people need to be paying attention to this weekend. It's the Fresno State Bulldogs. It's the Wyoming Cowboys. This is going to be a fun one here from Laramie, Wyoming. We're going to tell you everything you need to know here in a minute. But for starters, just have some business to take care of. Thank you guys for the support the channel has seen as of late. It's been crazy to me. Continue to support this channel. Biggest way to do so, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when videos get uploaded. But there are more ways than that to help me support this channel. You guys are doing one of them right now just by watching this video, and you guys can do a lot more by liking, commenting, sharing, really anything else you guys are willing and or able to do to help me support my channel. Whatever you guys are able to do, I would greatly appreciate everything. But enough about me, enough about that out of the way. Let's dive into this Mountain West showdown here. You have a ranked team in the Fresno State Bulldogs. They enter this game undefeated, and the Wyoming Cowboys already do have some big wins and impressive performances so far this season. They ended up keeping a game really, really close with the Texas Longhorns there as well, but they've also beaten a Big 12 team in Texas Tech, and that App State game there was fantastic. So this should be a fun one here from Laramie. Let's go ahead and dive on in to the stats that both of these teams have put up so far this season. We are going to start with the Fresno State Bulldogs, as of course they are the road team. So it is a custom that we start there. It's a Fresno State offense that maybe they're missing Jake Haener a little bit, but you know what? Mikey Keene has come in, and he has not skipped a beat. 1,474 yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's the 4 turnovers you see there from Fresno State on 69% completion percentage. He's got a lot of phenomenal weapons there. It is led by a guy by the name of Eric Brooks. You also, I believe, have a Boston College transfer here in Jalen Gill, who's the second leading receiver here, actually the team leader with 5 receiving touchdowns. You got guys like Jalen Moss, and the list goes on and on. This is a very, very talented wide receiver, very, very talented pass catching room. And you know what? The running back room has been doing their thing as well. Elijah Gilliam has 74 carries, 312 yards, 4.2 yards per carry. But it's actually been Malik Sherrod that statistically has been more impressive, especially when you look at yards per carry. 36 carries for 257 yards, 7 yards per carry, does have a 72-yard rushing touchdown, but 2 touchdowns for him on the year so far. It's a Fresno State attack that, yes, starts with Mikey Keene, starts with this pass game, but they can run the football as well. You'd also like to see the offensive line do a little bit better of a job protecting the quarterback. That'll be especially key when we start talking about this Wyoming defense here in just a little bit. But speaking of defense, we are going to move on to the defense of the Fresno State Bulldogs. And you know what? For the most part, it's a defense that's playing really, really, really well. And actually, I shouldn't even say for the most part. Just in general, it's a defense that's playing really, really well. They're allowing under 20 points per game. They're allowing under 300 yards per game. They're not allowing teams to get it moving on the ground, which is going to be really key here against the Wyoming Cowboys. They're creating turnovers. They have 12 turnovers so far on the season. Now, albeit 8 of those did come in one game here against the Arizona State Sun Devils. But regardless, it's still 12 turnovers on the year. You're creating pressure, 14 sacks on the season. This is a Fresno State team defensively that has really stepped up, really answered the bell here. They have a ton of great talent. You even have one defensive back here by the name of Carlton Johnson that already has 4 interceptions on the season. Talk about an absolute dude. 4 pass defended, 4 interceptions. He leads the defense in both of those categories, and you just have a ton of defensive talent up and down the board here when you take a look at the Fresno State Bulldogs. So do the Cowboys, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Right now, my apologies here. Right now, we got to talk about the Wyoming offense. It's led by their quarterback here. My apologies. Led by their quarterback, Andrew Peasley. Now, the offense does not flow directly through him. They expect Peasley to be more of a game manager and not make mistakes. He only has 575 yards, 6 touchdowns, the 2 picks on 55.6% completion percentage this year. This offense flows through the run game, and Harrison Whaley has done his part to be able to do that. 53 carries, 457 yards. That's 8.6 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns for him, and even Andrew Peasley's gotten involved on the ground there as well. 3 rushing touchdowns for him so far this season. Now, it is not a team that is built on their offense, yes. This is a team that is mainly built on their defense, and we'll talk about that here in a second. They don't convert many third downs. They turn the ball over enough to keep the other team in the game, or at least be able to keep it interesting. The offensive line could do a little bit better of a job at protecting in pressure. They are having 8 sacks, 1.6 sacks per game. But for the most part, this is an offense that is expected to do its part, score enough points, and especially by the name of Andrew Peasley, a guy that needs to manage the game and not turn the football over, because you want the game, in my opinion, you want the game, if you're Wyoming, in the hands of your experienced defense. This is one of the most experienced defenses in the entire country, and it has struggled at times this season. Now, the offense has done enough to be able to help Wyoming come out here with some wins, but it's really important that this defense is going to need to step up here and play really, really well, especially against an attack like Fresno State that's really, really potent and really, really explosive here, especially through the air. The defense is giving up 25.2 points per game, 385 yards per game here. This is a defense that I expect those numbers to improve as the season goes along, but it's going to need to improve a lot here in this game against Fresno State. Now, they are creating turnovers to give their offense some chances. They are creating short fields for their offense, and they are creating pressure. But that third down defense has to be better, and you have to be able to stop Fresno State from driving down the field, which leads me into my keys to the game, what to watch for, just some things I think that you guys should be keeping an eye on when you are watching this game. For starters, let's talk about the Fresno State Bulldogs and what they have to do to be able to win this game. First, a quick water break. Make sure you all stay hydrated out there. Got to get it in at some point, right? But let's talk about the Fresno State Bulldogs, what to watch for them, some of the keys to the game for them. You guys get the drill. Mikey Keene, again, as I've said, has maybe not seamlessly replaced Jake Haener, but dang, it's been really, really close, right? They haven't seemed to skip a beat offensively with Mikey Keene coming in, and he's going to have a big test against a stout Wyoming defense. Now, as I mentioned, this is a Wyoming defense that's going to have to step up, play a little bit better than they have for the majority of this season. But this is still a Wyoming defense that's loaded with experience, and if we know Wyoming, it's that they can pull off an upset or two, especially if they are at home here in Laramie. So this is going to be a big test here for Mikey Keene. While the Wyoming defense does have to step up, this is a Fresno State offense that flows through Mikey Keene. He's going to have to play well here in this game. Defensively, if you are the Fresno State Bulldogs, you have to force third down and long. This is a Wyoming offense that does not operate well on third down and long, especially because they do not expect Andrew Peasley to be able to sling the ball. Now, they expect him to do it if he has to, but if you can consistently, maybe not every drive, but well, it'd be really nice every drive, but at least every other drive, force third down and longs, get the ball out of the hands of the offense in Wyoming quickly so you can get it back over to your offense. Now, there is kind of a ... here. If Wyoming can't move the ball, they're not going to be able to win this game. This is a Fresno State team that has really, really good rush defense, and that's the way that Wyoming likes to run their offense. It starts with the run, and then Andrew Peasley comes in as a game manager, kind of controls the tempo, everything like that. So if Wyoming can't move the ball, well, they're going to have a really hard time beating Fresno State. So this is a Fresno State defense, I think, that will be up to the task. They will get their stops, because Peasley and company, I think, are going to need to be more than spectacular here in this game. Just given from what I've seen with this Fresno State defense, Andrew Peasley, this offensive attack is going to need to be more than spectacular. And sure, your defense, I would fully trust your defense here to come up with some key turnovers, come up with some key stops, force field goals when it looks like Fresno State's going to score touchdowns. That's the second bullet point there. I'll touch on it a little bit here in a second. But this is an offense that needs to be able to score some points. It was able to do it in the game against Texas Tech, but you also have to have your defense force some turnovers maybe, and you just have to capitalize on every opportunity you have if you are the Wyoming Cowboys offense. But back to what I said earlier, no touchdowns allowed. This is the Wyoming team that has done a fairly good job at times of, yes, when teams have driven down the field, their defense has buckled in their chin straps. I've been saying that a lot lately. Don't know why, and really hunkering down and really preventing the team from getting into the end zone and coming away with field goals instead of touchdowns. That is what you need from this game. If Fresno State's offense is going to be on the field a lot, they cannot score a bunch of touchdowns because Wyoming just simply does not have the offense to be able to keep up with what Fresno State's going to be able to do. The home crowd here in Laramie is always electric. It's always a really, really fun environment, and it's going to make it hard at times for the Fresno State Bulldogs, and Fresno State's going to have their fair share of 3-and-outs in this game. However, I do not believe that Wyoming, from what I have seen so far, I don't believe that they are going to be able to keep up, especially offensively, with what Fresno State is able to do. This Wyoming defense is going to step up and make a couple of key stops. But I believe that the Fresno State defense will do so as well, and I simply trust the offense of Fresno State more. It will be a low-scoring affair, and yes, I know I predicted it right on the line. I just think 6 points sounds about right here for this game. This is going to be a really, really fun one from Laramie. Maybe Wyoming can pull off the upset. I think you're going to have to force some turnovers, have your defense step up, and have your offense go score some points. I think Fresno State, with that run defense and with the way Mikey Keene has been playing, will go on the road and get a big win here in Laramie. So I got the Dogs 23-17. Let me know your thoughts on this game in the comment section below. Week 6 predictions are over. Enjoy your college football Saturday tomorrow, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.